if you're always living in the past, your present will become the same.
I put my phone on, do not disturb.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 14th episode of the Conscious Cast. It might be the 13th, I don't know. But anyways, we're back. The boys are back in session, okay?
We're back.
So, today what we're going to be talking about is the human potential, okay?
Yes.
And how, through the power of the mind and through mastering it, you can achieve your dream reality. You can manifest what you want, and believe it or not, it's not that crazy hard, okay? And I'm not talking about manifesting like $1 billion tomorrow. Obviously, that's fucking not going to happen.
Unrealistic.
Right? Unrealistic. We're talking about the realistic shit, the things that you can do day in, day out.
Practices to develop your dreams.
Exactly. And you can develop habits and a routine which one of the big things with the law of attraction, right, is I don't know if you're aware of like the law of attraction.
I've heard of it.
I'm not. I've never really dove into that. Yeah. So pretty much the law of attraction is simply. I could be wrong about this. Correct me in the comments if I am. But pretty much, you don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are, right?
Yeah.
And so, if like you said, this you get in what you get out what you put in, right? And so. If I am constantly like for example, this YouTube video would never be filmed if we actually didn't sit down and do this, right? It is who you are. Like that is the reflection out there that you're going to get the reflection back in here. So if you're experiencing like a good reality in here, right, and you're feeling good internally, the external world is going to flip that back around at you, right? And then as you kind of develop that state of mind, and like throughout your day, it flows into other areas, right? And so it really starts with diving within yourself, and I think you can start off there.
Yeah, so that's diving within yourself is huge because it's like you need to really acknowledge what you're good at. You need to kind of assess your strengths and weaknesses from a practical, active perspective of like how to develop yourself in a positive fashion. And I'm a smart guy. I know I'm a smart guy, but it's like a weakness that comes with that gift is I know I'm smart and it makes me lazy. And like and that was kind of like, it was always, I never really gave it 100% in like high school. And like I started kind of sticking my nose in like to the dirt when like in freshman year and shit. But even then I still got like lazy because it's like, oh, I can sleep through this class and be fine. And, like, another thing, like, fucking 2 episodes ago, when you were recording at my house and we just finished watching Spider-Man, I fucking rewatched that scene where Dr. Octopus is talking to Peter. And he's like, being brilliant isn't enough. You need to work hard because intelligence isn't a privilege, it's a gift, and it needs to be used for the good of mankind. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then it really shocked me into perspective where I'm like, I've been wasting my fucking gift for too long. And that's one thing, you need to acknowledge your gifts and not fucking waste them. Because I was telling Cal before we turned the fucking camera on. It's like I've been in mad scientist mode, where I'm just fucking taking every opportunity I can to excel academically, but I'm also not falling short. And that's another thing. You need to keep a balance. And like, if you keep a balance of working on yourself, maintaining and improving your already, developed gifts that you have, like, whether you're smart, whether you're physically adept at something, or better yet, if you're like a genius or something, like if you have you need to assess your strengths and weaknesses, and you need to simultaneously maintain a level of, personal fulfillment, like maintain your body and like feel good, eat right and stuff like that, physically speaking, but also keep your status up mentally. And all the while subliminally develop, or not subliminally, actively improve your strengths, but also make up for your weaknesses. And these are, like, if you continue getting better at what you're not good at, while also further developing your mastery, or like you're already, like skill areas you're already good at, if you keep developing those, if you kind of run with that practice, you will go so far. And like, for me, like, doing that, I'm already seeing progress. Like, in the gym, I favor my right side when I throw, like, kicks and stuff. In martial arts speaking. I've been developing my left side, power and technique, and I'm seeing progress because I've been doing it for these last couple of weeks. That's a weak point of mine, but I'm also still developing, power on my right side. But the same thing goes, like, I suck ass at calculus. And I've been fucking beating my brain to death trying to ingrain these formulas and math practices into my head so that I can perform in the classroom while also, working on programming and cyber stuff that I'm actually physically interested in and I do better at. So it's like you need to make time for your weaknesses, but while also simultaneously developing your strengths further.
Definitely. And, a couple things that I got from what you said there, and it's, exactly what you said. Those strengths, they don't come effortlessly, but they come easier than your weaknesses, right?
Or sometimes they're effortless.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing. Talent is, talent can only get you so far.
Exactly, yeah.
So you have to work at it.
Yeah, exactly. You pair talent with hard work, and,
you're
that's
unstoppable.
Bro, imagine, no matter what field you're in, we'll just take a fighter, for example, right? A fighter that's naturally good at fighting, right? We'll take, for example, I don't know, I won't use that example because people will fucking, that's just not a good example. Yeah. Never mind. But anyways, so we take a fighter, right, versus he's naturally gifted at fighting, but he does not work at it, right? He doesn't work at his techniques. He doesn't work at, the fundamentals, right?
Yeah.
Even though the fundamentals come naturally to him. But if he worked, at the fundamentals and was, in a camp, for months on end, he would thrive, right?
Yeah.
But he lacks that inner behavior and willingness and discipline to work hard. Versus, let's just say he has a brother who the natural gifts don't come natural to, right? And and it's just not really his thing, but he works hard, right?
Yeah.
And it takes him double the time it would his brother do. But he ends up being a better fighter than his brother because he worked hard at it, right? And he had that perseverance. And it's crazy because when it's almost always the people who, it's not always the case, but I feel as though, from my own subjective experience, it's almost always the case that the people who are most successful are the people that it doesn't come naturally to. So, the people who are the most, wealthy and maybe, beyond money, beyond, this type of stuff, and they really actualize their human potential, right, that they have within themselves. Even if that gift is not there, they're like, fuck that, I'm doing it anyways.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And that's a mindset you gotta have. The guy that sucks and works twice as hard is better than the guy with talent that doesn't work at all. That's the analogy, and it's the same principle applies. If there's something you fucking suck at, and it's something that is a crucial cornerstone or stepping stone rather, or sometimes it's a fucking mountain that you gotta climb. And it sucks and you hate it, but you need to get good at it for the sake of the end goal. The guy that's naturally gifted in that will fucking, he'll get, he can get lazy. He can skip out and shit. But the guy that needs that shitty piece of material that he needs to build the machine that he can't find or doesn't have the mental capacity for, he's going to work twice as hard to find that fucking little part to add to the grand scheme.
Yeah, it's just you don't know what it is. You don't know. For example, take this YouTube channel, for example. And it's something that I've experienced within myself, I get pretty good at things, but I feel as though I've never been able to, excel to the next level, of, thriving. And so, with this YouTube channel, I haven't, by any means, I've had, good progress, I've probably gained, close to 100 subscribers, since I've started, 2 years ago. And I know that sounds pretty bad, but, I've also put out, nearly 300 videos at this point. But, in terms of numbers-wise, I'm not really thriving. In terms of that-wise, but I've also, learned a lot, and it's also, video does come naturally to me. But it's kind of, in the sense, I don't know what it is. I just keep going, And it's just, no matter what happens, it's just, we know we're going to keep doing this. It doesn't matter, what obstacles come up. It doesn't matter, what gets in the way. Sure, at times, we, for example, school, shit comes up, but we can't do it. But for some reason, we just keep going, and this can be, in the gym. You don't know why you go to the gym sorry. To some extent, let's just say you wake up one morning and you're feeling like dog shit, right?
Yeah.
But, this may be the case where you don't go to the gym, but, for me, in my own personal experience, I'm going to the gym. There's no question about it. If I can make it to the gym, I'm going to the gym.
Yeah.
It is a priority,
Yeah.
And, that is something that first you got to be aware of like your talent, right?
Yeah.
And if you have interest in it and want in it, right? And that's something you genuinely, intuitively care about, then you gotta get after it, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it's like you need to. Prioritization and organization are big things of actualizing your maximum potential. Because like if you're not prioritizing your goals, or like it's needs versus wants at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But you need to still have time for your wants, because your wants will prevent burnout from the needs. Because if you constantly practice the needs, you're just going to be a fucking you're just going to work yourself to death. That's why, we talked about taking breaks. You need to be able to step back and take a fucking break, and how important that is. But the deal with that is, if you want to actualize your maximum potential, you need to develop a plan of action. And it's like, using the combination of developing your gifts and strengthening your weaknesses. You need to, combine that with your wants and needs. Think of it like three, strings, for example, and each one represents something different. You need to tie them together, and fucking get them working in unison together. You need to develop a kind of DNA looking, double helix of productivity generation.
Yeah.
And to do that, you got to do a lot of searching within yourself, because you need to figure out, where am I now? Where am I going? And how can I get to where I want to go as quickly as possible, but without risking certain things? And sacrifice is a big part of it. Like school, we have to sacrifice our time for our studies, but our studies will take us farther. And it's like, despite how much we fucking don't want to do it, or like how much it sucks, it's got to get done.
Yeah.
But you need to do this. You have to realize what you have to do versus what you want to do.
Yeah.
And if you're actively pursuing one goal and use it as a or I'm speaking this in terms of too much means to an end. I should change it to try and say you need to. It's more of a personal thing, really, as opposed to meeting goals. It's more of, who am I? And am I the best person that I can be?
For the sake of itself, kind of?
Yeah,
Okay.
to a degree. You want to kind of avoid that, but also you want to. It's kind of a source of motivation.
Yeah.
And motivation is important, but it's not the end-all, be-all. The end-all, be-all is you going out and changing shit. But you need to realize who you are. Who do you want to be, and how can you be the best person you can be? That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
It's about, am I operating at maximum efficiency as a human being? And whether that be, health-wise or practicing.
Yeah.
You need to actualize and physically become your hero.
Yeah.
It's like that Matthew McConaughey thing. It's like, who's your hero? It's like, it's me in 5 years. And he knows he's never going to become his hero, but it always gives him something to keep on chasing.
Definitely.
But if you can become your hero, if you can be that shining example, if you can be fucking Superman, that perfect human, that's everything that you want to be, that's true limitless potential.
Yeah.
And that is a fictitious concept.
Yeah.
It is the idea of perfection. But if you continue chasing perfection until you are near perfect as a human, that you are operating at maximum potential, then, and only then, can you really change the world.
Definitely. And I think one thing I want to add on before we close out. Actually, we could keep we can keep chit chatting, but for a little bit. But I think you pointed out a lot of great things there.
Yeah.
And
in my kind of stream of consciousness.
No, but I also don't get me wrong. This work hard culture, right, is what we've been conditioned with within this consumer society, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that,
No,
right? Because literally what you just said, someone watching that, even I got motivated off that. All right, so you know what I mean? And it's so fucking dope. But at times, I was just taking an entrepreneurship class. This guy said he had 5 businesses at one point, a teacher, and he was working 20 hours a week for 5 years on end just to make ends meet. And that's why he was like, well, that's the reason why I broke up with wife number 2. So I was
that's
it's just
incredible.
And don't get me wrong, work hard, right? Pursue your goals. But at the same time, we always say this, realize that you're the masterpiece but the work in progress at
Yeah.
the same time, right? So you gotta.
And that's the thing. You will never not be a work in progress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because there's always a next level.
Yeah, you're constantly evolving, right?
Yeah, as a human, your potential is limitless, but it's only you that can access that endless potential.
Definitely. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was done.
Oh, shut it! Oh, no, fuck! No, you're good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think kind of it just feels like whenever I watch like these videos, it kind of like cool. I'm not saying this is a bad thing about like what you were saying, but like
Yeah.
you gotta keep going, you gotta keep doing this. Like it feels like don't get me wrong. There's so much benefit in that,
Yeah.
but it's like a never-ending fucking machine, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
we're not machines.
No,
right?
we're
Like,
not.
But that's like you go back 100
Yeah.
years. That's what businesses would treat their workers like, right?
Yeah.
And there was very little conscious awareness of like treating the worker as a human,
Yeah.
right? And it was just like all they cared about was profit. But now it's a lot better in the sense
Yeah.
that companies are a lot more aware of it. Like, don't get me wrong, there's still fucking issues all around the world, but at least
Oh,
in the
yeah.
United States, it's gotten decent. Where they actually take into account like the employees' needs and what they them as a human,
Yeah.
But and it's kind of like you just got to take a step back because sometimes
Yes.
your mind will never stop going, right? And I catch myself doing this with
yeah. I do that too much.
yeah. Like and it's just like you're never present, right? And
Yeah.
you're always thinking about like the next task you have to do,
Yeah.
like. And like, don't get me wrong, that's what the mind's there for. It's there to remind you what you need to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I remember like these past couple weeks where like this is definitely my hardest semester. Like, yeah, I'm sure with you as well, right? And
It's actually easier.
oh, okay. Well,
for
okay.
me.
Well,
Yeah, but because last semester was fucked.
okay.
Actually, it was ass.
But yeah,
But anyway.
anyways, like it's just like those tasks you need to get done, right? But you have to be aware of when you need to take a break.
Yes.
You have to be aware of like, okay, listen, I need to go do this assignment, right? But deep down within me, I know what's the most beneficial and of the highest good, right? Which is to go, for me, sit on a bench and meditate for like an hour, right? Clear
Yeah.
my mind, reset myself, and then when I go in and tackle that task, I'll be even better because that shit, like creativity, right?
Oh, yeah.
Comes out of fucking nowhere. Like I read a book about this, and we won't get into it now. We'll probably do a whole other episode on like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But like creativity is not done through rationale. Like, right, don't get me wrong. Like, you can logically come to a conclusion, right, and come up with like a solution. Yeah, no doubt about that. But like those ideas come out of like the oblivion, right? They
Oh,
come
yeah.
out of nowhere. They just float into your just like, oh my god, I should do this. Like while you're writing a paper,
You get
right?
punched in the
It's like-
face
yeah, it's
by
like-
creativity.
Yeah, exactly.
And
It's like
ideas.
it's like intuitive, right? And so like you can reset and kind of realize that okay, like I want to work towards my potential as much as I can, but don't let it take me over as like you're so attached to it, where you're
Yeah.
just like suffering, being like, oh my god, I'm not the best
Yeah.
version of myself. Like,
Yeah.
even though that's an illusion.
Yeah. So Cal in the last segment brought up a fucking outstanding point of like being a machine, and you're not a machine, but sometimes you gotta think like one, like not I don't act,
No, yeah.
and by that I mean not always like calculating and thinking, but sometimes. Actually, it's not so much more of like a machine, but as a shark.
I was thinking like objective, like you put your personal feelings.
Oh, that too,
and
yeah.
bias to the side and just like focus on the goal.
Actually, yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good point. But it's also like
Oh, yeah.
you have a like equating it more to the shark is
Okay.
you gotta keep moving forward. Like if you can't look back. You have a purpose and you're going straight for it.
Yeah.
You're on the hunt. But like going back to that, yeah, taking your emotions out of it's a big part because like I forget who said this, but it's like if you're always living in the past, your present will become the same. And it's like
Yeah, no, it's facts.
like and it's that same kind of thing. It's just like you can't like you have to remove yourself from the what if. And you can't think about what's fucking you up in the past that's putting you on this path, which, it could be good, but it's like you have to take, say you feel a certain way about something that you're doing right now. Like me with fucking calculus. I hate it with burning passion. If I could go back in time and break Isaac Newton's fucking hands to prevent him from developing the system of mathematics, I would do it in a fucking heartbeat. But I have to take that out of it to get the fucking job done.
Yeah.
My hatred of the calculus is irrelevant because it needs to get done either way. And so I have to remove my emotion from it and become a Terminator. It is an obstacle in my way, and I cannot let it be that any longer than it must be. So you have to take your emotions out of it and attack. And this is very much the whole passive versus active thing we have going on.
Yeah,
in
right.
This dynamic.
It's a good mix.
Yeah,
though,
but
honestly.
it is. But you need to fucking be, like, you need to leave your baggage at the door. You have to take out your bullshit and fucking throw it out the window.
Yeah.
Take your bullshit, throw it out the window. And then you can fucking clean your room, and your room is, actually, run it back. Got an analogy. Your room is dirty. You need to clean your room. You got all this bullshit in here that you need to get rid of. But there's something in the room that's kind of putting shit in as quickly as you're throwing it out, or something that's been in your room for a long time that you've been putting off throwing away. And that's kind of emotion. That's stigma that is attached to to your room. You have this assignment over here. You have that assignment over there. You have hanging out with your boys. You have fucking, pursuing women or whatever. You have all this.
Yeah.
You have all this shit all over the floor, and you need to pick it up. But there's something in the back of your closet staring at you that has been there that you haven't taken out yet. It's your luggage from the last vacation you took, and odds are, it's dirty laundry. Past failures or emotional torment from a breakup or something that you still have in the back that you're still thinking about. When you close your eyes, you're in your room. You see your room, but what's keeping you up at night is the dirty laundry in the closet. You can see all the dirt, all the stuff that you have to do, but you can't do it effectively because you're still staring at that dirty laundry in the closet. You gotta take that suitcase, throw it out the fucking window. And then, once it's out of your fucking room, it's not your problem anymore. You gotta take it out of your present mind. Your present mind is your room. And if there's past trauma in your present mind, you can't operate efficiently. You have to remove the past anxiety and negativity to pursue actively and positively the goals that need to be accomplished. And that is it's taking your feelings fucking out of it is the best way to actualize your self-potential, because truth be told, nobody gives a fuck about how you feel. Plain and simple. School of Hard Knocks lesson. No one cares about you except for yourself, pretty much. And maybe the people you care about and everything.
Family, yeah.
But generally, everyone in the fucking world doesn't give a flying fuck about you.
Yeah.
Unless you make them care about you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to, exert yourself on other people, but you need to become something that people can admire, or something that past you could admire. Because every time I pursue, I move forward with something, I think about what would past me think about, looking at current me. And that's not so much as a way to put myself down or something. It's just look at how much I have changed and how much it's better. As a kid, I wanted to fucking be a lizard scientist, a herpetologist, because I fucking love lizards. They're
cool.
awesome.
That's cool.
And reptiles.
Cool.
And that was my dream. And then I was like, wait a minute. There's other thing. I can help the world differently if I do something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And if here's it's like that Matthew McConaughey thing. I want to be past me's hero. Not current me's hero, past me's hero. And I think the path I'm taking, me as a kid would be proud of what we become. And that's a good way to look at it. But I couldn't be where I am now if I didn't, learn the lessons of the past, but also do away with them.
Yeah. I think I like that. That was good.
Yeah.
Something I was just kind of pondering this past 30 seconds. I was like, oh shit! Oh yeah, dude. There's a couple things I want to mention, but we'll stick with this. like Aristotle was his like metaphysics, which is like the study beyond reality, right?
Yeah.
Was how humans can come up with shit, like for example, like we'll say that like a light, right? And that's its function, right?
Yeah.
And so like like pretty much the whole conceptual world is like the metaphysics, right? And how we can understand it within this reality, right? And so that's pretty much how we can create our own reality, right? Through that conceptualization, and right, and so kind of like on that basis, I believe this conceptual reality is an illusion, right? And so let me break that down for that. Let me give that some merit. So independent from our minds, right? You could say like other animals, plants, universe in general doesn't understand what the fuck we're doing, right? Like only we can understand like what's going on, right? And like the functions and the systems that are occurring, right? And like you could say like the economy, for example, the stock market, like only we can understand that. Only humans would get that, right?
Yeah.
Through like learning it, and they have the ability to learn. And from our knowledge, at least, no other being or animal can learn that, right? And so in that sense, like I think illusion has like a negative connotation, and to be fair, I do give it a negative connotation on this channel a lot.
I still are.
And, but no, it's not to put it downer, right? It's like I said this to you one time. It's like respect each other's illusions, right?
Yeah.
And it's like it's cool because we can create our own realities, right? We can manifest the reality that we want, right?
It's like a lucid dream.
Yeah, lucid dream.
We are aware of the fuckery that's occurring, but we can actively change it to how we want it.
Yeah, it's all based on beliefs, right?
It's your room again.
Yeah.
It's like your illusion is your room. You're in your own bubble. You know where you are. You know what's in your room, but you can put shit in your room if you want to. If you want it, you can bring another person into your room. You can make the room bigger if you want. You can do whatever you want. It's your space. Your illusion is your space. It's your life, and that's exactly what you should use. And now, sometimes, you're in a big apartment complex. You got your friends in other rooms, people in other rooms. But, you sometimes you take something from someone else's room and put it into yours. Something that you like, that you can that he's got two of. You can share it, like an idea or a concept, something you agree on. You can bring
no one owns it.
Yeah, no one owns it. It's just there.
Yeah.
And if you want something in your life, you can make that happen.
Yeah, like, for example, we'll take morals, right? For example, right?
Oh, big one.
Morals, ethics, right? In a sense, let's just say all humans are wiped out. There's no moral code independent from the human mind, right?
Yeah.
It only operates within our systems and boundaries, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure, like, to some extent, I was thinking about this. I was like, do animals have morals? And not to the extent we do, but if you look at like a lion tribe, like they know what the fuck.
There's a hierarchy.
Yeah, they know what the fuck is up. They know what to do. They know what not to do. Right. So to a certain extent, they do have like a moral code to follow. I mean, obviously, it's not absolute across every single lion tribe.
Yeah.
But I think with this, it's very interesting because you take morals and let's just say. Like you don't go on your neighbor's property, right? Because but you could, right? Like it's there, right? It's you you should not, right? Because it's immoral, right? It's not something you're supposed to do, right?
And here's the thing about morals. It's a group think. It's like, hey, you wouldn't like collectively socially. I wouldn't want some dude just walking into my house.
Yeah.
But that's only because we've been taught to not allow that.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, you shouldn't punch that guy in the face because it's wrong.
Yeah.
Who says it? They do. Who's they? Everybody. It's like there's the baseline of normalcy, which is based off of normals, or not normals, morals. And that kind of if you fall in line with that kind of school of thought, like what's good, what's right, what's wrong, it's been changed a little bit, and it's constantly evolving.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Because it's like, the people who wrote the morals of the past, like it's like scribblings on a wall, on like a cave wall. You got chalk, and you can see everything people before you have written on this wall. But every time those kids are born and they grow up, they write on the wall too. And the wall is constantly changing. It's a mural of people's practices. Like, and these practices have grown and produced our way of thinking. So like, what like how we acted in the like how people like kids our age acted in the 70s are different than how we act now because we grew up in a different time, and that kind of moral kind of line in the sand is constantly moved forward and moved back by society dictating it.
Yeah, definitely. That's like another example. It's I mean, yeah, you can just look at this as like laws, right? For example, right? And like laws are good. Like morals are good. Like let's just make that clear right here, right now. Okay, like
they're here to
I don't want some dude walking into my room in the middle of the night. You know, like that's cool.
They're here to establish a baseline of behaviors.
Yeah, we're just trying to make you acknowledge the beyond, right? You acknowledge what's true beyond like what you see and are used to, right? And so that's pretty much what this whole entire podcast is about, right? And it's like, don't get me wrong, we don't know everything. We say this all the time. We're not perfect. We make mistakes, and I'm sure some philosopher could watch a single 15-second clip and dispute everything we say, right? But like, listen, I think we're spitting facts. I think we're spitting truth, right? And to acknowledge what's beyond, to acknowledge, when I say beyond, I just mean more information, help you be aware, and it helps you better yourself as a person, right? And it helps you become more aware of your potential in a sense, because you could see the beliefs that are normalized, right, and appear as facts, and you'd be like, those limitations, right? Oh, yeah, right? Like, so let's just say you have, like, this belief, this deeply rooted belief about yourself that you are incapable of doing something, right? That, like, maybe your parents told you, your friends told you in high school, and like, let's just say you bring it up, like, say I want to become, like, I don't fucking know.
An actor.
Like an actor or some shit, like, right? Like, and you've always had, like, you're like, oh, I wanted to join theater in high school, but I didn't want to because, people, I would have been seen as lame. And maybe your friend says to you in college, like, oh, Cal, become an actor or something like that. And you're like, nah, I probably wouldn't be good at it, right? But I've always wanted to. And then, like, maybe you do, you change your mind and you go and do it. And then what do you know? You become a fucking Broadway actor. Like, I don't know. You become extremely successful, even though you believed you couldn't in the beginning. And it's crazy because what people tell you, and you like you said, it's someone else's, right? But if you adopt that, it becomes your own.
Yes.
Right? And then you take on the beliefs of others, and then you're being controlled by others.
Hypothetically. But that's the thing. You bring it back to making something your own. Like, that's inspiration. If you look up to someone.
Yeah, vice versa.
And you pursue, like, you're not trying to copy them. Or sometimes you are, and that's the wrong way to go about it.
You make it your own, and then you tinker it your own way.
Mm-hmm. You need to make it your own. You can't just take somebody else's life, or like their ideas.
Yeah.
Just anything. You need to be original, and being original, that's a big part of being, the best you can be, is being you. And
facts.
You're like, everybody's unique, and no matter, they do pander a little bit with that. It's like, what makes you different? And it's just like, no, you need to be fucking you. You need to be original, and it's hard. It's hard when society pushes us into the fucking groupthink, you know. And like, you gotta walk the untraveled road. If somebody's
all these roads going in a fucking different direction. Everyone's on a different path.
Yeah, like I think you said this something similar in a previous episode. It's just like I'd rather walk. I'd rather like walk.
Oh
yeah,
okay.
like I'd rather.
Okay, I'll say it.
Yeah,
I'd rather walk in the wrong direction. Or no, I'd rather walk in the right direction alone. Than a crowd that's going in the wrong direction.
Yes, that's what it was. Yeah, and it's like you need to be independent of other people, and like sometimes it's hard, not separating yourself from these other people. But like going back to the episode where we were talking about like your circle and your environment, like you can't like let other people dictate your path. You just can't let it happen. If you want to be the best you can be, it's just you. Yeah, other people can help you along the way, but you have to allow them to, and you need to assess what people are trying to give and what others are trying to take. And you can't let other people change the direction. You can't let the peanut gallery talk in your ear like,
Don't let the
this,
pressure
this,
get to you.
yeah, this is too long. Let's turn around. Or like, let's take a shortcut. Let's go a different way. There are no fucking shortcuts. Don't listen to those losers.
Only you know, too. Only
Yeah.
you fucking know.
Only
like,
you know.
Only you know. And it's...
Yeah, like, I saw this on Instagram. Will Smith was talking about, like, your dreams, so something. But it's like, you could have all the people in your world behind you, but it's, at the end of the day, it's you.
Yeah.
You are what is achieving. You are the one that's constantly getting better. I don't care about that guy, I don't care about this guy, it's you.
Yeah.
I know what I'm about, and I know where I'm going because I'm making it fucking happen.
Yeah.
And you can't let other people tell you where you should go. When you know at your heart, at your fucking very soul, that where you're going, where you know, where you want to go, is the right way for you.
I put my phone on, do not disturb. Don't wanna talk, I don't wanna